No, you're not. You can share business. You can go in partners with her. You're not supposed to tell her. In other words, if me and the guy were going to kill somebody, or he was part of it, he's not supposed to go home and tell his wife he's killing somebody. You're not supposed to give up that kind of information. Anything drastically illegal, you're not supposed to tell your wife. You're supposed to lie to her. You don't do anything. My wife knew I was a gangster because of news reports, not for anything I've ever done. My wife was oblivious to it. My daughter was oblivious to it. My daughter didn't learn about I was in the Mafia until she was older, in school, and her friends talking and stuff like that. My son didn't know. I never went home and told my son, I'm in the Mafia, I'm a killer, I'm a hit guy. I never did that. Later on in life, they found out through indictments and stuff like that. But you don't do that stuff. I mean, they're not stupid. They get to understand what's what. People that ask me, what'd your father think? Because my father and mother were legitimate people. What did your father think? He actually never knew. My mother kind of didn't know officially. I never said that, but she realized that we went to a party, people coming over, shaking my hand, kissing me. She knew about our Italian heritage as Sicilians. And she kind of guessed why all of a sudden are they doing that with my son. But she never really got into the questions of were you in the Mafia and stuff like that. I straightened out some stupid little beef she had. She had a beef one time with a guy who's owned a factory, a dress factory. She was doing some work. He owed her money and he didn't pay it. I went there to go see the guy. And before I went, she said, Sammy, they're big Mafia guys, don't go there. I said, I'm just going to talk to them. I went there, I got the money right away. And she kind of like, he just gave it right up to you, thinking that he's a big Mafia guy and he would just tell me to take a fucking walk. Once she knew that didn't happen and I got paid, you know, women are not stupid. Women are not that involved with the Mafia or the Mafia thinking. Gumadas knew about it, but a lot of women knew about it, weren't involved in it, didn't get involved in it. But they understood the life. It was in the newspapers, it was in the streets. Your name just went around all over the place. And they knew if they had women come to me when they had a situation in a marriage with a husband, and I knew them growing up in the neighborhood would come and say, Sammy, this happened, X, Y, Z happened. And I would say, all right, let me talk to him. I would talk to him and kind of straighten it out. So they saw movies, The Godfather, things like that. They understood it. They understand it now. There's so many Mafia movies that came out. The Godfather, I think, gave them a good understanding of it, Goodfellas. Movies like that, they got to understand it. The girl Janet, who bought me a gift to go to this place to rehabilitate my energy and my brain power or whatever. She's very smart. I'm sure she's not in the Mafia, but she's a smart woman and she asks right questions. She understands the Mafia. She must follow it, the movies, the whole books and everything. And when she asks questions, it's like talking to another Mafia guy. So they're not stupid, but they're not really part of the life. The Gumadas that hang out with them girlfriend, Gumadas we call them, they understood the Mafia pretty good. And there were some women who were very, very close to the Mafia. Marilyn Monroe was very, very close to the Mafia. She knew who they were, what they were. She was pretty smart. There was a woman who was around the mob a lot. And she got subpoenaed to a grand jury. And then went to this meeting where there was all Congress people. And on the stand, they asked her, why do you know so many mob guys? You're very close to so many of them. She shocked the whole Senate committee, whatever it was, when she turned around and says, nobody gives a blowjob like me. And the whole fucking Mafia loved her. But that's the answer she gave. You could look up her name. Janet will probably know who we're talking about. And they were completely shocked, all the senators or congressmen, whatever they were, when she gave that kind of an answer. Yes, I was. There's too many, and it's going to be in my movie, but I was very friendly with him for a long time. A news person went to Czechoslovakia. He was Czechoslovakian, and did an interview with him, and he talked about me, and it was in this guy's book and everything. No, I didn't meet Jimmy the Gent, and Paul Vario, me and John Gotti, when he died, we were filmed on, we went to his funeral. No, not really. I think I met everybody and his mother in my time frame. I mean, there's guys I would have loved to meet, but never met, but they were way before my time. I don't know how it started, but there was always problems between the Irish and the Italian mob. They were totally different. Irish guys were great guys, tough guys, friendly, but you went in a bar, after 3 drinks, they were calling you guinea cocksucker, and before you know it, there was always a beef between the Italians and the Irish. But there was a lot of Irish guys who were really close with us. McIntosh with the Colombo family, he was very close to Carmine Persico. He was the top hit guy in that crew. So they learned to get along with them. It was so far back in time where the Irish and the Italian really battled. The Irish came before the Italians, then the Italians came in. The Irish became politicians and cops and stuff like that. So there was always pressure and arguments and stuff, and the Mafia came in, the Italians came in with the Mafia. So there was always problems. But through the years, it got better and better. I had an Irish guy who was friendly with me. There was Irish was around us. We did, you know, business with everybody. There was a lot of the black Mafia was close to us, numbers businesses and all kinds of different businesses. Some drug guys was involved with black guys who were famous black guys who were in the drug business. So there was a lot of relationships for different reasons. I really don't have a best friend. I think I had a lot of guys who were really, really close with me. Sammy and my Gumbada Alley Boy and everybody who was in my crew. Frankie the Chico I was like tight with him like this. Big Louis Valerio, Toto's son, Charlie Boy, we got made the same day. We went in the same exact time. There was a ton of people that I was super close to. There was a lot of guys in the Colombo family because I was there first. I broke my cherry over there, meaning I did my first murder with the Colombos. And so I always had a special relationship with Sally Albanese and a bunch of, you know, Shorty Spiro, and a lot of guys in that family as well. Even after I left and I was part of the Gambino family, I was pretty close with a lot of Colombo people too. I grew up with Gaspipe, even though he was a maniac. We grew up in the same neighborhood, and we were friendly. No, Gigante's daughter, I saw a video about her. She's very, very smart, very talented. She knew what her father is. She loved her father no matter what he was. She wasn't his advisor. She was his daughter and his best friend, the way I saw it. The unions aren't connected like they used to be. I mean, we lost that power a long time ago. No, we weren't that close with them, but a lot of guys were close with them. When I was in prison, I knew I was going to get life without parole. I was planning on a break. I was going to break out. And I had people reach them and ask them if they would accept me into their Mafia if I went there, or Australia, right? Unions are good in a certain way, but they do a lot of damage to the country on an overall basis. I mean, I know they go and fight for you, you get a raise, you love them, but in reality, You know, the cost of everything goes up because of them. The new Pope, I mean, I don't know him, but I know a little bit about him now that he's in. He's the first Pope that ever came from the United States. He came from Chicago. He was mostly out of the country. I think he's a good man from everything I hear. He's 69 years old, so he'll be there for a pretty long time. He could be there for 10, 15 years, 20 years, who knows. But everything I hear about him, everybody loves him. So, and I hope he does good things for the church. And if the church has got problems, I hope he's the one who's going to straighten out some of those problems. You know, he went to baseball games over here. So I would imagine that he has a special love for the United States. He's American born. I believe he's either Italian or Spanish, because he was in a country that he did most of his time with. I'm ecstatic about being a Christian. I made a change when I left the Mafia. It was one of the biggest changes I could possibly make. Last September, I became a born-again Christian. It changed my life again, and I'm happy with that. And now I'm talking about churches want to talk to me, Christian churches and different places. I'm happy about that. Like I said, I was supposed to go to church this last Sunday, but there's a couple of people who were sick. I didn't go, but I intend to go next week. I'm happy about what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of good things. I'm an advocate now for Prep National. Prep National is a company that deals with and helps our kids. And I've always cared about kids and their health and welfare and stuff like that. And I hooked up with a guy named Paul Vecchione. I became an advocate for that because they're helping kids grow from kids. They help train them. They help their mental problems, staying away from drugs, things like that. And I've almost taken that on as like it was my family. Now that I've become a born-again Christian, like it was a family thing. I have a legacy as being Sammy the Bull, Gravano, a warrior for the Mafia. I have that reputation, and now I have a different reputation. And I'm working with people, helping people as much as I could do. And I know a lot of you guys don't want me to change my name to Sammy the Lion, but when the guy explained to me about God wanted that, when I got baptized, it was strange to say what a feeling I had. It was like when I got married, when my kids were born, when I became in the Mafia. I had a special feeling for becoming a born-again Christian. I got a rough side of me that's kind of moved away. I'm happy about that. So when the pastor told me about being called Sammy the Lion and devoting my life to God and Jesus and doing good for people, it made me think. And I really want to do that. In a way I want to. In a way I don't want to, I'm Sammy the Bull. Only God knows how many people will say he's faking, he's a liar, he's this, he's that. And I learned in life you can't give a fuck about what people say. It's what you feel. It's what you want to be. It's what I want to be. What kind of legacy do I want to leave at the end? Sammy the Lion, being a Christian, going to different places, if that brings people into Christian places, loving Jesus Christ and God more, if I could do that, I'm seriously thinking about it. I know I want to help the kids. I've already become an advocate for that, trying to help them in school. Let me tell you a little bit about that, what Paul Vecchione is doing. He's a teacher for years and years and years, his whole life. And I talked to him and I became super friendly with him. I love everything he's doing. I got a call one day from a teacher who wanted to ask me questions and stuff. A woman named Madison. she's joined this movement, and it made me think more and more and more. It made me start to understand it more and more. And I want to become an advocate for it. I want that to become part of my future, whatever's left. So becoming Sammy the Lion and taking another step forward into a different kind of a legacy, I'm giving it serious, serious thought, especially if it says it in the Bible. Then I think I'm on the right path. I became a race car driver. I'm not a full-blown race car driver, but I've been learning, I've raced, I did a bunch of stuff. It's another thing that I probably would have never done in my earlier life. I'm a little concerned with it. Nobody wants me to do it. And I'm not stupid. I understand this is like way over my head. I didn't walk away from it yet. I went to classes. I graduated the classes. I was in a few races. It was a little scary. And I'm not in those big ones where there's 30, 40 cars yet. They want me to be in that. I have to go to school for a week straight, making the turns and doing certain things. I haven't used a clutch car for years and years and years. But I knew how to do it. I did it in my race. I was confused because when you come to this turn, you're going so fucking fast. You have to put your foot on the brake, and I was in third gear. You have to drop it down to second gear so that you can make this turn and come out and then make the next turn and go up. Now, I'm not used to that. I drive fast on the highway, but I don't drive like this. Is a whole different level. Two things. I don't want to get hurt, and I don't want to hurt somebody else out of being a sloppy driver. So if I keep it going, I'm going to have to go to this school. If I do that, I still have the urge to race. Everybody who likes me or loves me don't want me to do it. Nick Pileggi, guys I deal with and talk with, they don't want to see me get hurt. I'm 80. My reactionary abilities are not the same. My eyesight is not the same. So I get what they're saying. And, but I'm thinking of that's becomes a part of my life too. A different part that I've never done. So I do things that I have never done in my life. I do it all the time. And this is being Sammy the Lion, becoming a race car driver. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy when I talk about it, when I say it to myself. But that's what I've been doing most of my life. I realize that. I was younger. It was easier. Cooperating and leaving the Mafia probably was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I always looked down on that. I would never do that. And I did it. I got betrayed. And I left. I don't know about these things, but I know they're fresh in my mind. I think about them. I don't know when we think about it. I mean, I took some of the girls, Sterling and people, to some of the things to graduate. I had to go to certain classes. Then I had to drive my own car around the track. And then I went into an actual race car and drove around the track. I mean, it was a trip. And then dealing with these people, I got to like them too. Race car people are a little nuts. They're dedicated people, good people. People came over with their kids to introduce their kids to me. They're in the trailers, they sleep there. They really live a rough life and fight their way through it. And I respect that and like it. And I don't want to humiliate them or embarrass them that I shouldn't be doing this or make it into a joke. It's not my motive. If I do it, I want to do it and do it properly if I do it. Or if I quit, I know I made it this far. I did all those things already. I bought the uniform. I bought the whole thing. Did it all. I got the helmet. You know, getting in and out of the car, I took this new woman who's working with me, Megan. We're doing a clothing line. And I took her down with me one day when we were practicing with the car. Going in and out of the car. You got 7 seconds to get out of the car if it's on fire. So you got to practice to get in and out of the window, in and out of the car. And it sounds so easy. We went down, and she was with me, and I'm strapped in on both sides with a belt. Coming up from my crotch is another belt. I'm wearing a harness. 2 of those things are strapped in. I'm wearing a helmet. That thing is strapped and tied around my neck like. And then I got to hit buttons to get out. And I got to rip down the screen. So we did it. We tried it. She was with me. Sterling was with me, I believe, once or twice as well. And I did it in 30 seconds. I thought I did the greatest thing in the world. And the guy says, you died twice. You got to get it down to 7 seconds. I got it down to the last one, the best one I did, was 15 seconds. And you even got to pull the steering wheel off and throw it out of your way. Or you're so bolted in this chair, you can't even breathe, let alone anything else. So it wasn't easy. Megan said, let me try it. She jumped in the car, into the race car, and she said, wow, I didn't think it was like this, this hard. And then I'm short, so getting in the car is a pain in the ass. My legs are gonna go up, my ass is on the seat. Even at the car, there's a piece of metal is on the side to protect your side. Now, I couldn't get in because of that piece of metal. So I asked him, cut that metal a little bit, which he did. Made it easier to get in and out of the car. So I'm playing with all of these things, and we'll see. But giving up on Christianity or church or going forward or possibly changing my name, whatever it is, I'm not giving up on that. I'm really not giving up on that easy. I say it because I wanted your advice, about changing the name or something like that, but I'm not going to give up on Christianity. I'm not going to give up on trying to help my kids. These things have become part of my life now. I am now a warrior for God, not a warrior for the Mafia any longer. So with that, guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up. I got a couple of appointments and stuff like that. I'd love to stay all day, but I can't. So, and I'm not supposed to curse as a Christian, but adios, motherfuckers. I haven't changed completely.